this album's amazing. Heyo review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one, I'm going to be doing an album review for Jess Glynne's new album, Always in Between. It is such a good album. So Jess Glynne, English singer-songwriter, this is her second studio-length album, the first being 2015's I Cry When I Laugh, which was a pretty well-received album, got her a lot of notoriety, and this one's getting very positive reviews as well, and for good reason. Straight up, this might be my favorite pop album of the year that I have heard, that I have reviewed. And despite the fact that, like I said, this is probably my favorite pop album of the year, as well as an album that I adore so much, I can wrap my thoughts up pretty easily. I listened to the deluxe edition, but the original is just 12 tracks, so I'm gonna be keeping that in mind. The bonus tracks are pretty good, but I just gotta say, this is a soaked pop album with so many influences, the most prevalent being R&B and especially soul. I gotta say, this album has a lot of soul influences that are written all over it, so if you're a fan of that music, you're gonna be getting shots of that really quickly, and you're gonna understand why I'm saying that. And this album was so refreshing compared to some other pop albums on the mainstream. Songs and albums and bands and artists, all of the emotion can feel very kind of intentional. It can feel very fabricated, manufactured just for the sake of having that emotion. But in my opinion, this album and Jess Glynne come off as very genuine with the emotion, very genuine with the lyricism, as well as the vocalization that accompanies it, as well as the instrumentation sounding very boppy and complementing the type of songs that she is going for very well. No track on this feels like it's intentionally trying to create something just for the sake of being on the radio, just for the sake of being popular with the mainstream or getting the most streams. These feel like legitimate songs, and it goes to show you that you can have that accessibility while still creating very good art that conveys some sort of emotion. And man, the instrumentation on this album is so good. You will understand that from the first track, which is a little short intro. I believe it's about 1 minute and 39 seconds or something around that length. And the instrumentation is just super boppy, super soul and R&B kind of funky sounding. And Jess's vocals are fantastic on this album and fantastic on this track. Some of her harmonies are great, and she stays in a lower register, but she can also go super high, and she really displays so much vocal prowess and technicality on this album that I can admire a lot, because she's going from those highs to the lows to the mids, and she really does have a great vocal range to her. And I don't hear any auto-tune, I don't hear any pitch correction. Maybe it's in there and I'm just not hearing it, but it sounds very natural, and just like everything else on this album, it feels very genuine. It doesn't feel like it's fake or fabricated just for the sake of being a pop album. Like, a track I want to point out is track number 2, No One. I love this track. It's my favorite track on the album. The lyricism is so powerful about how you're not really anyone until someone loves you, and the kind of feeling of not wanting to be, you kind of feel less whole when you're alone, that type of thing. How you want someone to be able to love you as much as you can love them, to feel purposeful because someone cares about you that much. And I can really dig that lyricism. This track's instrumentation is so precise, and it's so just amazing. There's so much instrumentation on this track. The pianos are just, it kind of complements each other, because it's this R&B soul feel with this upbeat poppy ballad type of song. And her vocals are just so good. She's so wide range, just like I said before, such a wide range. And she sounds powerful. She doesn't sound monotone. She doesn't sound like she's just singing the lyrics to sound monotone or just to sing them. She actually sounds like she is feeling what she's saying, and she's feeling the music that she is telling and writing and portraying. And it all feels so serious. It feels legitimate. It feels like it's a great kind of experimentation in being legitimate, which is something that I feel so bad that I have to say that about modern pop. But for the most part, there's not a lot of music being made like this in the mainstream right now. I mean, the only one that I can think of is Ariana Grande's album Sweetener this year, and even so, I was saying that that might be my favorite pop album of the year. Nah, this blows it out of the water in my opinion. Track number 3, I'll Be There. I know this is one of the bigger tracks. I believe it was a single, and I know it was kind of one of the more hype tracks. I feel like this is maybe a little bit toned down compared to No One. I feel like the instrumentation is very stripped back, and I feel like it gives Jess the chance to kind of soar and flourish over this instrumentation, which, like I said, is kind of stripped back. It's a little bit more minimalistic. It's not as over the top and so multifaceted as No One's instrumental, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just something that I wanted to point out, and her vocals really do shine on this track. Track number 4, Thursday. Even though No One is my favorite song on the album, I think that this track has my personal favorite lyricism. God, I love the lyrics on this track. It's talking about, like, insecurities and not wanting to change for anyone and trying to force yourself to not change for anyone, and it all culminates to create such a powerful message, such a powerful refrain that I dig so much and relate to so much. Love it. Love this track. I love this album. I mean, I could talk about, like, track number 6, 1, 2, 3, which is very poppy, very upbeat, very relatable, simplistic lyrics, but they go a long way. I could talk about the final track, track number 12. I could talk about Nevermind, which really ends the album on a powerful note, with Jess finding herself in a much lower register that reminds me similar to an Adele. And to be honest, she reminds me a lot of Adele on this album with her vocal structure. I could go over every single track, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys because I want you guys to hear it. I dig this album a ton, and if we're not counting K-pop, which might have taken the cake with some albums, this is my favorite English sung pop album of the year by far that I have reviewed. Now, that's not to say there's ones that I didn't get a chance to review, I didn't get around to, but for what I did here, from what I was presented with this year, this definitely takes the cake as being a fantastic album. I'm going to be giving it a 9 out of 10, but I want to know what you guys think, so you can post in the comment section below after you listen to the album. Like, comment, subscribe, it helps me out a lot, and I will shout your channel out. But until next time, I'm signing off. My name is Jay Morris, Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.